Hello, everyone. My name is Miriam Momodu. I'm the founder of Getting Education Consulting. Getting is a social enterprise that works to help Africans primarily and people from developing countries access global opportunities. We do this through a couple of ways, teaching people things like this, how to really sell yourself to any opportunity, whether that's a scholarship, a fellowship, admission for graduate studies, or anything like that. We believe that education is a fantastic way to level up and enhance your career and pursue your career and personal goals. To date, Getting has helped people secure over 1.6 million US dollars in scholarships. And we have our clients who have gotten into top schools, Harvard, Oxford, Cambridge, Cornell, and so on and so forth. So by being in this session today, you are going to learn the tips and the tricks that we have used to write essays and work with people to polish their essays so that they can get in. Now, honestly, I'm so glad you're here. I am so glad you're here. One of the reasons why Getting exists is to help you, go from where you are to where you want to be. And one of the challenges that stops people from getting to where they want to be is being able to sell themselves properly through their documents. So you see people who are fantastic or who can be fantastic, but they just don't know how to present themselves in a way that is very, very compelling. And that is the thing we're going to deal with today. By the time we're done with this session, the promise is that you will have a clearer idea about how to write your essays in a way that it cannot be ignored. So if you don't have a pen, if you don't have a paper, you're on a long thing, you need a pen and a paper so that you can record and write the points that I'm going to be giving you today. Right, so who am I and why am I the one who is talking to you about this? Some of you may know me and some of you may not. As I said, I'm Miriam Momodu and I founded Getting Education Consulting a few years ago. I did my undergraduate studies at the University of Ibadan. And I got a Commonwealth scholarship to pursue a master's degree in law at the University of Cambridge. I'm currently pursuing a PhD at University of Toronto. And all these academic pursuits I've done at Cambridge, at University of Toronto, they've all been fully funded degrees. To date, I have personally gotten up to $250,000 in scholarships for my graduate studies. So I usually don't want people to pay for graduate studies if you can package yourself in such a way that if you can access those opportunities, I really don't want you to pay. So one of the key reasons why I have personally been able to get all those scholarships is through the power of storytelling. The power of storytelling and the power of writing my essays in a way that I know that once you pick it up, you can't put it down. I know it. And that's what I want to teach you today, because a lot of you have the ability and the capacity to do the same thing if only you knew what to do. Okay, so here we're non-traditional. We're non-traditional, we're not doing things the same old way. I'm going to show you how you can do things in a different way and how to make this whole process easy for you. In this life, things are not supposed to be difficult, it should be easy. So I'm glad you're here and let's dive right in. Right, so what is the graduate school essay? What is it? Why are we writing this essay? Why can't you just submit your CV, just submit your transcripts and they can just let you in? Why do we have to, write these essays? So obviously, a grad school essay is a very, essential part of your application. For universities, you need to understand that it's not only about getting somebody maybe who has good grades or who says, I'm interested in this. They want to know your personality. They want to know you. They want to know what you bring to the table. So that essay is a place where you can sell yourself. You can let the school know that, look, I'm going to be an asset to you. All right. So your grades and your education alone cannot really tell them about your personality. It cannot tell them about your motivations. It cannot tell them, why they should pick you over other people. When you're approaching the graduate school application process, I need you to think about it like a competition. Listen, if you have friends who you think need to listen to this, you need to send them the link to this session. Think about it as a competition. Don't think about it as, oh, you know what? I'm just sending an essay. I'm just going to submit my essay, and see what comes out of it. Think about it as a competition. Somebody from Slovenia is trying to apply to that university. Somebody from Hungary is applying to that university. Somebody from China is applying to that university. Somebody from Finland is applying to that same program. So think about it as a global competition. Now, if you're applying for a scholarship, for instance, like the Chevening or the Commonwealth, just think about the thousands of people that are going to submit applications to that school. So the first thing you need to fix is your mindset. Don't just look at it as something you're just submitting, let me just try my luck. You are in a competition. And when you're in a competition, what do? You train. You train, you work hard, you build the required muscle. You build the required muscle to ensure that you are standing atop everyone else. So I'm just gonna keep asking. If you have questions, keep asking in the chat box. If you're watching this recorded session, obviously you can't ask questions in the chat box, but for those who are live, ask in the chat box and I will respond later. So the first thing I need you to understand is that your graduate school essay is like the biggest punch in that competition. That's how you can punch your opponents out. So have that mindset that this is not just 500 words. Let me just write 500 words and see what they're saying. You understand? And see what they will say. So it's an opportunity for the school to know you, know what you bring to the table, and decide why they should pick you over other people. It is not a random document, all right? So they're going to use it to judge your suitability in terms of personality, in terms of your future goals, in terms of whether they want to be proud to say that you are an alumni of the university. All right? Good. So I hope we have the mindset on lockdown. Do we have the mindset on lockdown? I'm going to be looking at your comments. So have the mindset on lockdown. It is not a random thing. It is a competition. Fantastic. Now, and what does that mean? Obviously, you need to submit something that is fantastic. It's not just random, all right? And the funny thing about your essays, it's like a competition where you have just one chance. You have just one chance, all right, to come correct, as I like to say. I'm Nigerian, and in Nigeria, we have a lot of slangs. So come correct basically means you have to give it your best shot. It's like you have just one punch, right? And you cannot afford to make it a weak punch. You have to go very hard, all right? So now that you have that on lockdown, let's move forward. What are the 5 mistakes people make when you're, writing your essays? What are the mistakes you make? What are the mistakes you make? Please let me know if you can hear me. I want to make sure that you can hear me and that you're with me. If I say anything that resonates with you in the comments, just let me know. Just say, oh, I felt that. Let me know that, oh, wisdom. Just say anything to let me know that I'm hitting the spot for you. All right, so now 5 critical mistakes that I'm going to talk about today. 1 is poor planning, failure to conduct research, failure to sell your experiences and achievements, failure to answer the questions asked, and writing boring essays. Look, if you can avoid these 5 mistakes, I can assure you that your essays are going to be fantastic if you can avoid these 5 mistakes. Okay, so now let's go into it. Poor planning. Now, one of the things, before I go into this, let me tell you one of the things that Getin advocates. Getin is a company or a social enterprise that believes in empowering people. We don't believe, a lot of people want shortcuts to the answer. A lot of people don't want to work. You don't want to research. You don't want to, you don't want to go deep. You don't want to get your hands dirty, but you want the glory. You want the glory, but you don't want the work. So at Getin, a lot of people are like, oh, you people, your wahala is too much. You people are too intense. You take things extra. Well, we are extra because we want extra results. We don't do things averagely because we don't want average results. Some of the things that I'm most proud of are seeing people who had, just regular results in university going to top schools fully funded. Seeing people who were rejected year on year going to top schools fully funded because they implemented the tips that we're sharing. Now, we don't want, it's not a matter of, oh, take templates. Anybody you are talking to, and I repeat, anybody, any company, any friend, any agent that you are talking to that gives you a template essay, to submit, run away from them. You are going to be in trouble. Run away from them. Anybody who gives you a template that this is it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? Or this is the document, just change your name, change your course. Please don't do it. I've had somebody or heard of somebody whose admission, she was in trouble because somebody gave her essay to someone else to submit, and they both submitted to the same school. So please, there's no shortcut in this discussion. This session is for those who are ready to work, right? If you know that that's not your vibe, to the left, according to Beyonce, all right? So that's not your vibe. So the first thing is, as I said, poor planning. Now, I'm going to give you my personal experience because people learn through stories. Now, when I was going to pursue my degree to Cambridge, my master's, can you believe that I started planning for that degree 3 to 4 years ahead? Yes. I was in my second year in university when I had it in mind that for my master's, I'm going to Oxford, I'm going to Cambridge, I'm going to Cambridge, and I'm going to go to Harvard. I had it in mind. Now, you don't have to be so extra to plan 3 to 4 years in advance, but you need to be extra enough not to just pick something off of the internet and think, okay, let me just apply to this school without doing in-depth research. Now, for some of you, you are actually going to realize that you're not ready to apply to graduate school yet. And for some of you, you will realize the amount of work you need to do to be competitive, okay? But the first thing I want to say is that failure to plan, number one, in terms of even your choice of schools, the schools you're going to, the scholarships that are available is a big problem. Then number two, failure to plan in terms of your essay writing is also a big issue. Now, the first thing you need to do is select your schools, identify your deadline, and start tracking all your deadlines. Get-in has a free application tracker. Please, can we put the link in here? We have a free application tracker where you can download from our website, right? And you can plug in all your schools, all your deadlines. You can see it, pardon me. You can see all the deadlines and you can track the deadlines. Please, can we not write on the screen? Thank you. You can see all the deadlines, you can track all the deadlines. That's the very first thing you need. Know your schools, identify your schools, and track your deadlines. Now, the second thing you need to do in terms of your planning is building what we call a persona. Now, when I asked most of you, what is the challenge that you have? A lot of you kept saying, I don't know how to sell myself. I don't know how to tell my story well. I don't know how I'm going to put it in 500 words. I don't know how I'm going to do this. I don't know how I'm going to do that. Okay? Please, I just need for some of you to confirm that you can hear me so that because a couple of people can't hear me. So I want to be sure that you guys can actually hear me. So please Get-in, team, can we put the link to the application tracker in the chat box? It will be shared sooner rather than later. So building a persona, what do I mean by a persona? Look, as you are as a human being, as I am as a human being, I have so many dimensions of me. There's me as a lawyer. There's me as an education consultant. There's me as a daughter. There's me as a wife. There's me as a baby girl for life, as we try to say, There is me as a Christian. There's me in different dimensions. There's me as an academic, right? But guess what? When I am submitting my graduate school application, not all the dimensions of my persona are going to be sold. And that's the biggest mistake people make with their essays. You think your essay is a place where you will put in every single thing that you have done in your life. It's a lie. It's a lie. Even in your CV, and I'm not going to talk about that, Get-in has a graduate school application bootcamp that would even walk you through how to even make the best choices in terms of your choice of school, how to search for your supervisors, how to do all those things. But that's not what I'm here to talk about today. I'm talking about building a persona. It's not for you to, put everything you are in that essay. That's the wrong approach. Okay, it's a wrong approach. But instead, you need to ask yourself, what does the school want? What is this school looking for? Who am I? What have I done? Where is the intersection between the two? And that is all that you need to sell. Finish. You don't need to sell everything. You need to sell the intersection between the two of you. So by grad school essay, I mean your personal statement, or sometimes they call it statement of purpose. Sometimes, they would call it different things. But basically, what I mean by your grad school essay is that place where they're telling you to talk about yourself. That's what we're talking about here. All right? So you're looking for that intersection, that sweet middle, that matches who you are and what the school is looking for. So for instance, if I'm applying for a professional program, in law, I have no business talking about my education consulting, except I want to use that to further advance a point I'm trying to make. So the main reason why you are confused, you have so many things to write about, is because you think your essay is for all your life stories. No, it is for selected parts of your life, of your journey, that will match with what the committee is looking for. So build a persona. So what is my persona? My persona will depend on what I'm applying for. So if I'm applying for the Commonwealth Scholarship or the Chevening Scholarship, I need to look at what's Chevening, Commonwealth. What do they want? What do they do? What do they value? Then I'll look at myself. How are my experiences? How do they match what these people want? So you highlight your leadership experiences more. You would talk more about how you want to come back and fix things and what exactly you want to fix, right? But if you apply for a PhD, selling your intellectual capacity is perhaps more important than what you want to fix. Okay, I'm going to address all your questions, but let me just run through, right? It's more important than what you want to fix. Now, how can you build a persona? You identify the school or the opportunity, then you now ask yourself, what are my career plans? What do I want to use this opportunity to do, right? What are my achievements so far? How am I uniquely qualified? How can I build a profile that nobody else can fit in? So if I say, oh, I'm a commercial lawyer, that's all. I'm a commercial lawyer. I'm very passionate about business law, or I'm an engineer, structural safety engineer. I'm very passionate about safety. That's not a persona. Most of the time, I have the tendency to just keep giving you everything hot and direct. So we mute ourselves so we all have a past experience. Get in team, please mute anybody who is unmuted. So, as I said, if you have friends who need to be in this session, please go and call them. All right. Now, what are the persona? So that's not a good persona. Just saying I'm a commercial lawyer or I'm a structural engineer. No, you're a commercial lawyer who has done what and who wants to do what. You're a structural engineer who has done what, who wants to do what. Please, can we mute ourselves so we can all have a very fantastic experience? Please, thank you. You are a structural engineer who has done what and who wants to do what. That's what you need to be asking yourself. So let me give you an example of a persona. A persona would be, a structural engineer with 3 years experience in, enhancing safety in, I don't know anything about structural engineering, okay? So just take this with a grain of salt. With 3 years experience, enhancing safety in highly condensed, population areas, blah, 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 within Africa, looking to do what? Are you trying to learn a particular type of technology? You understand what I'm saying? To evaluate the safety to do non-destructive testing. Is that what you're trying to do? So take that your past and take your present and connect it with your future. You understand? And that's how you're going to be able to build a persona. Now, for some of you, I can see you saying, oh, I haven't done anything. It's a lie. You've done something. You've done something, but you don't rate it. And I'm going to talk about that, okay? Now, when you have a persona, what it does is it stops you from rambling. You won't talk about how A connects to Z, connects to G, connects to K. You will go from A, B, C, D, E, because you know exactly what you are trying to say. Okay. Now, one of the challenges you all mentioned again was you don't have enough space to say what you want to say. Again, is your lack of a persona. Because if you have a persona, when you write a sentence, you have to ask yourself, how is this sentence enhancing my persona? How is this sentence that I have put? I am a competent, diligent, intelligent doctor. How does this push this persona that I have created? If it is not pushing that persona directly, it needs to be cut. Because why? Every word in your essay needs to earn its place. So it's not just to write things to fill up the space. Every word in your essay needs to be pointing to the focal point, to the focal point of your persona.
As a follow on Instagram, that's how they used to TikTok husband up and down.
So let's keep moving. As I said, download the application tracker. It will help you to keep track of your essays. Now, the reason why the persona is important is if you don't, taking your time and planning that your persona, thinking hard about yourself. Have you heard of an elevator pitch before? If you've never heard of an elevator pitch, just Google elevator pitch, right? It's basically a very quick intro to who you are. Because if you don't understand your why, if you don't understand why you're pursuing that degree, and even if you want to just do it for immigration purposes, at least you need to have a bit of a higher calling, a higher reason first. But if you don't understand your why, if you cannot sell your why, the admissions committee will not understand you either. It will not understand, they won't understand you either. So please don't underrate these points. Keep asking people, when you have a persona, ask people, does this make sense? Does this make sense? Now, another issue with planning is that a lot of us, we think inspiration is going to come to you in one day and you'll just be able to write all your essays because you've been thinking about it. It's not true. What you need to do is to get out your questions and start answering them now. And I'm going to give you a final tip on, how to start the writing process going. So note your essay questions and start answering them. You don't have to, your English doesn't have to be good. It doesn't have to mean anything to you. Just answer. So if they say, what are your leadership experience? Just say, I did this in my church. I did this in my school. I did this in my whatever. It's called a free writing exercise. Free writing means you are just writing. You're not trying to edit it. You're not trying to make it look good. You're not trying to make it smell nice. You're just writing. Write rubbish. That's the first way to get your essays going. Start by writing rubbish. So that question, that essay question you've been looking at, that you've been keeping for the day of divine inspiration, it's not going to happen. So today, at the end of this session, I want you all to go back and start doing what? Can I have someone in the chat say, start writing rubbish? I want you to tell me back. I'm going to start writing rubbish today. It's called a free writing exercise. Just start writing rubbish. Let me tell you a personal story. I was writing a paper. Exactly. Balki said brain dump. Write rubbish. Write it. Be happy about your rubbish. And guess what? There is no failure. When you're writing rubbish, there's no failure, right? Because I'm writing rubbish. This is not my essay. I just want to write nonsense. So start writing rubbish. Now, let me tell you about an essay that I wrote. I was writing a paper, and I was really bothered about it because it was going to be a very long, it was going to be a very long paper. But you know what? I said, you know what? Let me start writing rubbish. So I'm doing trade law. So I'll start writing. I'll say, well, actually, international trade, when in Africa, people are not very serious about it. Companies are not very competent. I don't like how, nonsense. I don't like how I cannot know the taxes that are, the customs duties that are applicable to my product. I don't know how, technology is not being used to sell digital services. I wrote nonsense. Do you know that when I started going back to that essay, I was surprised. I was like, I finished it so quickly. I was like, hold on, am I done? Because all the rubbish that I was writing over like a week or two, it actually now makes sense. You can have an app on your phone, anything on your phone, a notepad. When you are in the bus, just write one small rubbish, one sentence. When you're, watching Netflix, write another rubbish sentence. Take 1 hour just for rubbish writing. After you do that for 1 week, you actually would already have the skeleton of your essays. So there's no fear. You have nothing to fear. There's no mountain before you. All you need to do is write rubbish. Okay? Now, what after you finish writing your rubbish, you've provided the basic answer, the basic foundation, you understand, for what you will now develop to make your essays outstanding. Imagine if you are laboring to write something, edit it, you are writing a beautiful sentence here, you spend 1 hour on one sentence, and at the end of the day, you're going to have to cut that sentence out because the word count is not enough to accommodate it. You've wasted so much time. So don't edit, write. All right, moving on. Even for if you're writing a research proposal, just keep writing. Write your thoughts, write your thoughts, write your thoughts. All right? Now, that's the poor planning. Now, the second point, failure to conduct research. Listen, when it comes to people who stand out in their grad school essays, it's the people who have done research. Research is the foundation. You cannot use the same essay for every school. Actually, scratch that. You can use the same essay, right, as a foundation for all your applications, but you may not be able to submit the exact same essay for every school. You're going to have to adapt it, but the process of adapting is easy. It is very, very easy. Once you can do that first essay, the rest is chicken change. That's how I see it. Once you have that first essay, once you have a persona, you have that first essay, the rest is easy peasy. But just crossing that first hurdle is what you need. Now, let me go back. Failure to conduct research. A lot of you would just have that vanilla essay and you just fire to 4 or 5 schools. It's not going to work for you. It's not going to work. So you need to really identify the schools. When you identify the schools, you need to sit down on that website. You need to know what the school is doing. Don't just click the basic things. You need to check underneath. You know, you need to look at the faculty in the school. What conferences have they been attending? Look at all the centers in the school. Do they have a center for non-destructive testing, a center for intellectual property law? What are the activities of that center? Does that center have a social media account? What do they talk about? What are they tweeting about? One of the tips, and Getting is going to launch a course next year, and that course, when it launches, just be ready, to teach you how to use social media to conduct your research and to submit an application and get opportunities that are amazing. But that's not for this year. Let's focus on your essays. But I want you to think, when you're thinking about research, don't just take what is on the surface. Imagine if I always tell people that one thing Getting says, I always say it all the time, is we're going to use education to level up. You're not going to see this on any parts of our websites. No. But if you have actually watched any of my live sessions, if you've watched any of our events, there is no way you won't hear that sentence, using education to level up. So whenever people are submitting essays to us, whenever we see that sentence, using education to level up, we're like, yes, this person is one of us. This person understands us. This person knows what we're about. Yes, we want this person. So imagine if somebody's applying to a job at Getting, and they're like, blah, blah, blah. Not only am I passionate about using education to level up, I'm like, okay, you know what we're about. Why? Because they have entered the corners of who we are and the content we produce. So you need to digest the content being produced by your desired school. Your school is probably organizing webinars, seminars, pardon me, orishi, which means different things. Are you watching those sessions? Put it on ×2 speed so that you move fast. But you will pick one sentence, you will pick one idea that when they see it in your essay, they can connect with you. You understand what I'm saying? They can connect with you. It's not like somebody's just going to say, I want to come to University of Minnesota because the school has excellent research faculties, a good library, and that doesn't make sense. But when somebody else says University of Minnesota Faculty of Engineering is pioneering this particular research in relation to COVID, which has done this, and this is what I want to do. they can see that this person has gone the extra mile. So the website of the school and the program is that's where you're starting your research. That's not where you're ending it. You're not going to start searching, entering, just go and pay for your data because you need a lot of data. But you're going to just be looking for 1, 2 things that can demonstrate to them that this person has gone the extra mile and they're serious about this place. Okay, so check all the requirements, and then check for extra things. So a pivotal component of your essay is to demonstrate why you're interested in that school. And trust me, if you can show something that is not incredibly obvious on the surface, you have a better chance to win. I remember one essay that I wrote. Honestly, I knew that I was going to be rejected. Why? Because I didn't do my research and I was rejected. And trust me, that same essay that I submitted won me so much money in other places. But because I didn't tailor it to that particular opportunity, I knew. At the same time, that same essay, when I took it and I tailored it properly to another organization, they were just giving me money for my education. Okay, surface level research is not adequate. Good. So listen, I like examples. So don't say, I'm interested in the University of South Wales because the university has a great program that will help me conduct research and attain my long-term career goals of being a recognized scientist. The alumni of the university are outstanding people worldwide, and receiving an education from your school will enable me to become a renowned genomics expert in the future. Okay, it's fine. But guess what? If I put University of Dundee here, it applies. If I put University of Calgary, it applies. If I put Harvard, it applies. So this is very generic. Don't do this if you want to stand out. You want to fit into the school but stand out from others. Don't do this. We have said nothing. What you should say, however, is I'm interested in studying genomics, right, at the University of South Wales because the renowned JK Interdisciplinary Gene Sequencing Lab and its supportive specialist supervisor will enable me conduct groundbreaking research with genetics. Please, let's mute ourselves so that we can. Are you guys feeling my content? Because I'm not getting encouragement from this chat box. I'm not getting encouragement from this chat box, and if no encouragement, no energy. I need you to let me know that this is helping you. Okay? So, pardon me. So you can't say that. You said you will say that, okay, I'm interested in this particular lab and its supportive supervisors will help me conduct groundbreaking research on the genetic sequence of albino rats and ultimately contribute to the existing knowledge of the roles they play in causing diabetes in animals. I am particularly interested in Professor Adam Riley's gene therapy research and looking forward to supporting the 1000 gene renewal project at the lab. Look, if you can fix this, do this for a school, all this is fictional, this is stories, this is not real. But if you can show there's a center, a lab, that center is working, don't go and pick a center that is not working, that they've not done anything for the past 15 years. Don't do that. Pick something that is active. Check on social. What are they talking about? Who just received a grant? If you look at the announcements of your university, universities like to announce stuff. Faculties like to announce stuff. Oh, Professor Riley just got $200,000 grant. Professor, this person just got this grant. Who is getting what money? What project are they putting it into? How can you plug yourself into those projects? You understand? How can you say, I want to bring a developing country perspective to albino rats? Just kidding. But you get what I'm saying? This is obvious that the person has gone inside. And that's what you need to do to make your essays work for you. I don't want to take too much of your time. I don't want to take too much of your time. So let me run. So now the third thing that most of you are talking about is, oh, well, I don't have anything to sell. I don't have any achievements to sell. I haven't done anything with myself. The first thing is, it's probably not true. One of the things that happens when I consult with clients, I tell people about their lives. Can you believe that? So I have a client who comes to me and says, this is what I want to do. And I haven't really done anything in this. I haven't done anything in that. Once I start asking you questions, you'll be like, actually, hold on, no, I've done this. Oh, actually, I have experience in this. So most of the time, you are just not counting the things you've done as being important enough to be sold. And that's the mistake. Now, it's very possible that some of you haven't even done anything at all. You don't know extracurricular activities, nothing. Now, if you haven't done anything at all, you might want to reconsider. Maybe you want to use a year, pardon me, to develop your competence and then apply again. Okay? Maybe you want to do that. But for some of you, what you need to do is to just sit down and think. Sit down and think, what have I done? Even if it is as simple as you were the class rep, in fact, some of the, even the courses you've taken in university, sometimes that's even enough to say, look, I took this course, and here is what happened. What else have you done? Where have you volunteered? You understand? What have you written any papers? Have you contributed to any conversations? Have you helped anybody do anything? You understand? Trust me, those are, you have something to sell if you're willing to dig deep. So I was talking to someone who is a dentist, and this person is interested in, making people generally more aware about oral hygiene. And I was like, what have you done in this regard? This client couldn't say anything. I started asking questions. I said, have you helped them create any system? Have you complained about anything? Have you tried any new thing in your office? Next thing, she started saying, actually, yes, I usually translate for people who are illiterate. Yes, I actually I actually helped them organize a system so that all our filing will be accurate. Oh, actually, yes, I volunteered with this place to actually go to one community, and it was just 20 people that were there, but at least it did something. By the time we take those experiences, we arrange it, we package it, we sell it the way I'm going to teach you how to do, it will make sense. So don't underrate, even in your church. What have you done in your church? You may not need to, anything. Think about it. What are the activities? What are the things you spend your time on? You get, and how can you be connected to what you are trying to do? For some of you, this is going to be more difficult. Maybe you're really jumping into another field. But if you're jumping into another field, you always have to show a connection between where you are and where you want to be. There must be a connection, or there must be something that made you switch your direction. And that is what your personal statement is meant to say. It's meant to say the things that are not easily deducible from your CV. So for instance, and for those of you who are applying to North America, you're going to have to be very, 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 very careful with how you write. Sometimes people in the UK, some other places, they're very conservative. You can literally just repeat your CV in your personal statement and you may be fine. But for North America or for places where there's funding, what you need is to sell these achievements and your stories. Now, to sell your achievements and your stories, forget things like saying, oh, I am competent, don't generic words, I am a passionate, competent lawyer. That's not what you're meant to be saying. You can use those words to wrap up, after you share the experience, but it's not by saying, I am a competent, passionate. Who is not competent? Who is not passionate? Me? You think everybody who is submitting is not competent and passionate? They're all competent and passionate. But what is going to make them remember you? So this is a chance to show your motivation, you understand, and your ability to take initiative and effectively deliver. Sometimes you would even take something that is unrelated to the program, but you're trying to show some transferable skills. You understand what I'm saying? So even if all you did was evangelism and church outreaches, you know, to package it properly. And you say that, oh, I've had the opportunity to volunteer and work with organizations that have worked in rural areas. And even though it wasn't about dentistry, the experience that I gained interacting with, women and blah, blah, blah in, rural areas has helped me to develop the ability to communicate effectively. I want to pursue a master's in public health to now add the technical dimension, you understand, of that to my practical experience in rural communities so that I can deliver dental solutions to these people. You've taken your church experience of going to the village to evangelize, and you have married it with your skills or your desire to pursue a master's in public health to help rural areas. Again, build a persona. It's not everything you are going to talk about. It's only what is going to get you into the door. Look, as you're talking to me, I have like 4 different CVs for different purposes. When I'm applying for when I'm applying for, if you're applying for like a fellowship, I'm not going to be talking about how I did commercial law, how I did this. I'm going to put more of my community development. If I'm applying for a law firm, I'm going to sell more of my professional experience. If I'm applying for an academic position, I'm going to sell more of the academic work. Oh, I went to the World Bank, I went to the World Trade Organization. Those are the things I'm going to be selling. So you have to keep digging deep. And for those of you who it's not incredibly obvious, you would have to be creative. And that's why you need to start selling early. I'm so sorry. I love talking about this. I can't believe it's been almost an hour, but I need to hurry up and finish this in the next 15 minutes so I can answer your questions. Now, don't be shy of your achievements. One of the things I'm learning, and I've not even learned it yet fully, is that a lot of us, especially people from developing countries, we are so humble. We don't know how to see your shoulder pad. It should be like this. There's this picture. I should add it to this slide. There's this picture of a lady with a purple shoulder pads that's been going around the meme. What I mean by your shoulder pads should be here is you need to start believing that your experiences make sense. Don't look down on your experiences. Even if that experience is only, you understand what I'm saying? Just the fact that you have effectively practiced a profession in a difficult environment. Don't look down on it. People are dying to learn your experience. They want a diverse class so that if you're doing an MBA, they're talking about how, when you want to do marketing, you want to do influencer marketing, you want to get people like Selena Gomez, you want to get to Taylor Swift, you want to get, maybe even Cristiano Ronaldo, you want them to advertise your product and all of that. And you're looking at them and you're like, and you think that's going to work in Nigeria? And then you tell them how influencer marketing works in your country. And you're like, no, in my country, influencer marketing, what we need is people who are going to come and dance on social media. They will dance with your product. What you need is a comedy skit from Mr. Macaroni. I don't know if you know, some of you may not know these people, but these are like Nigerian comedians. What you need is for, to get this particular musician, what you need is to get this particular musician to create, a jingle for you. You think, you tell the person, well, actually, Iniedo or, a popular actress will actually not sell your product as well as somebody who is like a street, like somebody who connects with the streets. Why? Because most people are not on, maybe Genevieve's level. So you will go there and you need to sell your narrative. You understand what I'm saying? So don't look down. If those people come to do business in Nigeria, they will fail because they don't have your intrinsic knowledge. So don't look down on your experience. You're talking about medicine. You want to do medicine. And and at the same time, because your experiences are different, you have different solutions. And that's one of the things I sell a lot. I'm like, look, trade law in Nigeria, it's not the same as what people are doing here. It's different. And that's what I'm doing in my thesis. It's completely different. It doesn't look like this. This is paparazzi. Let me show you what happens in Africa. Let me show you how you can even learn from what we're doing in Africa. Let me show you how, you understand, you can contribute to what needs to be done in Africa. So don't look down on your own experience, please. But what you need to do is think local and global. So don't just talk about so for instance, I worked as a lawyer in a company, and we did a lot of real estate transactions. You cannot talk about real estate in Nigeria without talking about what they call omonile. I'm talking using my own experiences. You cannot. So if a company, a law firm has a client that wants to buy real estate in Nigeria, guess what? They can never understand what omonile is. Omonile basically means, people in the community who claim a right of title to the land just by being in that community. And you have to take care of them. But guess what? Somebody who is coming from abroad will not understand that there's a very communal feeling about the land in many places in Africa. It is you who's going to teach them that. So what you're going to do, for instance, I'm sorry if you're not a lawyer, but you just need to try and follow me, okay? What you're going to do is to say, I'm interested in land law, or maybe you want to do land law or property law. You want to do a master's with a focus on property law, blah, blah, blah. Because in Canada, they're focusing a lot, or your research proposal even, or you want to talk about the research you want to do, your personal statement, if it asks for it. You're like, oh, that in Canada, the indigenous populations have a connection to land, which is similar to how, you know, the traditional communities, you know, have a connection to land such that, you know, real estate transactions cannot be conducted without intense consultation with the, in quotes, you know, the local people, sometimes called Omonile, translated as the children of the land. That is thinking local, but you are speaking global. When you translate that thing to them, that children of the land are the ones who claim a right of title to the land. In my proposal, or I want to work with Professor Crispin because he has done extensive work in indigenous law. And I believe that his experience will help me to further understand how, you know, right to title in blah, 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 blah should be blah, 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 blah. Okay. So as I said, it all depends on your question. I'm just trying to use this as an illustration. Don't answer your question in isolation based on what I've said. You need to look at what they're asking. Some don't ask you for your research at all. Some would say, you know, say a little bit about the research you want to conduct. It all depends. But I'm not seeing the comments that are, even me, I'm enjoying my examples. You understand? I'm not seeing these comments. I'm not seeing it. You need to hype me up. So that's how you think. You use your local. There's nobody who is going to submit an essay that's going to talk about Omonile that way. You understand what I'm saying? No one. And you want your school to feel like they can learn something from you. You want them to feel that they can learn something from you. You are not a beggar. Listen, you're not going to beg for admission. You have something to give. If you cannot think of anything to give your school, if you cannot think of anything that you will contribute to the program, you know, even if it's just your native experience or intrinsic experience, then maybe you shouldn't be applying. You have to find something in yourself. You're like, you know what? I bring this to the table, y'all. I bring it to the table. Okay? Now, let's move. Some of you have so much experience, so much personal, even personal experiences that you are just using, you're just treating anyhow. Okay, moving on. So don't be shy to own your experience, okay? Don't be shy. Humility does not tell your story. You need to give them numbers. Me, I have worked with 10,000 people. I've worked with an organization. We've raised 2 million naira. We've raised, you know, talk about it. Don't be shy. Even me, I'm a little bit shy about selling myself. But guess what? I'm a rock star. I'm a rock star. Sometimes I need to just hype myself. You know what? You're a rock star. You have something to bring to the table. It's their loss if they don't have you. So you have to also think about yourself as a marketer. You are marketing yourself. You know, you are marketing yourself. Now, how do you do all these things? I'm saying, no, sell yourself. You need to show, don't tell. Don't just talk about, again, competence, passionate. Give them that your experience. Start your story by telling them how, you know, large transactions in Nigeria are like nowhere else. And give them the gist about how you have to carry 5 alive. As a lawyer, you had to carry 10 packs of 5 alive juice before you were able to sign your agreements because you had to share drinks in the community. That's so interesting. You know, who won't want to read that? It will just be like, who is this person? Where are they from? This is interesting. Oh, I've never heard of this before. That's what you need to be doing in your essays. All right, so show, don't tell. You will say, you know what, you know, you let them know that, oh, you know, you can't access the community without, you know, maybe like contributing to a party or whatever, but don't make it sound like a bribe. It's not a bribe. And you need to make it clear that it's not a bribe. But always think about it like, if I explain this to somebody who doesn't understand the context of Nigeria, will they get what I'm really trying to say? You have to be very careful. Make sure you're explaining it in a way that, you know, actually makes sense. So don't say, due to my passion for public health, I conducted community health intervention visits in Nigeria and educated people on important health issues. I've been recognized by university on 2 occasions for my work in public health. I'm hardworking, dedicated, and focused. Beautiful, basic. This is okay, but it's just basic. Instead, you should say, after I encountered an alarming number of deaths due to childhood malnutrition in this community in southwestern Nigeria, I decided to set up public health measures to reduce the prevalence of childhood malnutrition in the community. I led a team of 20 students. Of course, you did. or even if you didn't lead, you were part of a team of 20 students to create information posters written in Yoruba language, the language commonly understood by members of the rural community. Notice the person didn't just say Yoruba language. He explained what the language is. So when you're talking about your local experience, but you're translating it into a global language that, oh, this is the local language. Now, using the posters, we successfully organized 4 health awareness campaigns which educated over 500 mothers on ways to prevent childhood malnutrition. See numbers. In recognition of my work, be proud of it. I received the Vice Chancellor's prize with a Z, sorry about that, for excellence out of 20 outstanding nominees. In addition, I was the youngest recipient of the Students' Prize for selfless service and contribution to the field of public health. Compare the two people. Compare this person due to my passion for public health. Has this person not demonstrated passion? It's clear. You saw a problem and you found a solution. This is the demonstration of passion. This is a demonstration of hard work and dedication, and the person has also been recognized. You understand what I'm saying? So I would personally say that this person has a better chance of being seen as passionate than the person who just said I'm passionate. So you can now end this sentence by saying, I have demonstrated over the years an immense passion. You can talk about that then, but not without giving them a concrete example. So again, if you have work experience related to your course, explain. If you don't have work experience, use your extracurricular activities, and try and look at transferable skills. So also, no experience is useless. And remember your persona. What is connecting your persona to your experiences and to the future that you want? Now, another problem, this one is so common. In fact, I see it all the time, and I'm like, what's going on, people? What's going on? Why are we doing this? Why are we doing this? Okay? Now, a lot of you don't answer the questions. You don't answer the question. It's like you set your own exam question and you decide to answer it. You can't do that. A critical component of application essay is to provide answers to the specific questions asked. So before you even write, you have to find out what are the questions in this question. What are the questions in this question? Now let's do another example. This is a question from Stanford. It says, our university community consists of passionate leaders committed to positive change. Tell us about the time you inspired change in your immediate community. What motivated you? How did you leverage on your network to create change? And why do you want to study at Stanford University? Okay? Now, in the comments, can you tell me how many questions are in this question? Now, your personal statement, most times it has a question. If they will not just say personal statement, they will say, tell us about. It may be very general. It may not be as specific as this, but there's always a prompt. Almost always, there's always a prompt. There's always something they will say. A lot of people don't pay attention to it. It should just be there, gently in fine print. It will say write a personal statement. You may consider talking about. That you may consider talking about, that's the real question. It's not just submit a personal statement. You understand what I'm saying? So look for the prompts. There's always a prompt. You understand? They will say upload your personal statements here. Then they will say something like, consider, share what makes you a good fit for the program, blah, 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 blah. So always there's a prompt. So somebody says, so the question, John said 4, Isioma said 4, Sylvia said 4, Ayo said 4, Chinaza says 4, Anjola, Faida, Priscilla, most people say 4, someone said 5, someone said 6. Okay, so let's see how many questions are here. Now, there are 4 clear questions. It says our university community consists of passionate leaders, committed to positive change. Tell me a time you inspired change in your immediate community. So the reason why I say this is not really a question, it helps you. It's not the first sentence is not really a question, but it gives you a framing, right? It's like, okay, passionate leaders committed to change. So they like people who are disruptors, who are going to disrupt the status quo. You understand? So in what ways have you gone and so I'm not going to apologize for using my Nigerian slangs because they're just so interesting. In what ways have you been in the Boski in a situation? That means in what ways have you been a revolutionary? In what ways have you, Have you looked at something and be like, we can't keep doing this like this, even if it is such a small thing, maybe even how your student organization was keeping their data. Like, why are we keeping our data like this? This doesn't make sense. We're not able to take care of our students because we couldn't access their data. It could be something so simple. So, but it says, tell us about a time you inspired change in your immediate community. That's the first question. So that one is telling you to give them a story. So give them a story, give them a situation. What motivated you? Give them your inspiration. How did you leverage on your network to create change? So in this kind of essay, you don't want to be saying, I did, only me, I'm the only person who is smart. That's not what you're doing here. You need to say, well, I connected with this, I connected with that, I brought together this community, I volunteered under this person. That's how you need to answer this kind of question, to show how you're able to harness your resources, how you are able to actually use your connection to invite one top speaker in Nigeria. A lot of you organize student activities. You use your connections and blah, blah, blah to, bring one top speaker in engineering to come and attend something in your school. That even though I didn't know this person, he was the expert in the field, and we connected with A, B, C, D, E to do that. Okay? Why do you want to study at Stanford? This is where the research that you've done now shine. Okay? Shine. Great. So I hope you guys will look back at your questions that are stressing you and break it down. You know what? If you break it down like this, do you know that you can already start writing a lot? You will now start writing rubbish on this question. Nonsense, just write. So tell me about a time you inspired in your community, you made a comment. Just say, okay, I remember that time when I told them that these people were doing nonsense in the office, and I told them to, make sure that clients are getting their stuff on time. Why did I do it? I don't like it when clients are not happy. You understand what I'm saying? Or I don't like when my community, or I remember when I went to that local community or that primary school to go and deliver a talk. What motivated you? Well, actually, people need to be inspired. I'm in doing education. One of the reasons why people are not doing well is because they're not inspired. How do you leverage on your network? Oh, actually, since I studied education, I had a cohort of classmates, and not only that, I looked for people in different fields. So I leverage on the people in my fellowship. I leverage on the people in ISEC. I leverage on this, that, and I did that. Why do I want to study education at Stanford? Well, because and you give them those deep reasons. All right. So let's move on. So answering the questions. Now oh my God. Please someone tell me sorry. Please tell me sorry. Because I'm about to cry. I need someone to tell me sorry. This is the one that is the most painful. This is the most painful one. So painful. Writing boring essays.
Sorry.
It's so painful. I can't cope anymore. I can't cope anymore, guys. I can't. It is so painful. Guys, stop writing boring essays. My goodness. If you need to get somebody to help you, your friend, just beg them. This is what I'm trying to say. Help me shake it up. You understand? Stop it. It's not good. For those of you who start your essays, you now say, Oxford Advanced Learners Dictionary said this. Why now? It's not fair. Even Oxford Advanced Learners Dictionary is tired. Black's Law Dictionary said this. Is not good. You're stressing. An admissions committee will want to cry, because do you know how many people have quoted Oxford Advanced Learners Dictionary? Is not fair on them. They're reading like 1,000 essays, and you are coming with Oxford Advanced. You're a wicked person. Oh my goodness, you are so wicked, you guys. But seriously, let's stop doing that. As long as I can remember, I have always wanted to be a doctor. Being a doctor has been my childhood dream. Throughout all my life, anything I see, if I see doctors, I'm always happy. From a young age, I've always been fascinated by. I have always wanted to use, maybe you can use Longman Dictionary instead of Oxford. I've always wanted to be a chemical engineer. As I see that first sentence, I'm just like, another one. Let's stop it. I beg you. So, let's stop using all those generalized statements. If you want to stand out, that's not how to stand out though. That's how to just be in the general park. You cannot stand out. Okay? You want to be vanilla cake when you can be red velvet cake. Don't do that. So your personal statement needs to be unique. and tell the admissions committee something specific about you. Usually, I encourage, no matter what you're doing, no matter the program, I always encourage you to start with a background story. Now, there's also strategies about writing that story, which I can't go into now, but start with a background story and be creative with your introduction. There's always almost going to be a part of your essays where you kind of have to just talk about the things you've done, and that part may get a little bit, not boring, but a little bit tempered. But you need to realize that the people who are reading your essays, they're emotional creatures, they're human beings. They're not rude. They will be moved by stories. Then I'm passionate. Ever since I was born, they were moved by stories. So I'm going to tell you, another one that is common is, according to Nelson Mandela, education is the only way to move forward in life. Don't do that either. Except you're going to be, pardon me, except you're going to be quoting maybe somebody like, except maybe you want to quote something unconventional that they haven't seen. You get what I'm saying? Or you want to put that towards the end, but don't start with, Mandela is tired, let him rest. Let him rest. Barack Obama said, let Barack Obama rest. Please, let him be at peace with his wife. He has done 8 years of presidency for you people. Let him enjoy his time with Michelle Obama. Please. You understand? So I'm not saying I'm not saying you can't put quotes in, but don't just start by, saying education is the way to the future. I'm very passionate about education in my life. I've always done this. I've always done that. That's not the way to sell. You need to sell with a background story, So what I always sell the essay that I wrote, and for my own applications for trade law, when I was doing my PhD, I wrote an essay that started with a story about how my mother wanted to buy a car, right? And the way to buy a car in those days, if you wanted to buy a used car, you would, I was much younger, my mother wanted to buy a car. He's like, okay, what is this person talking about? Your mother wanted to buy a car? Like, what are you talking about? And then I'm like, that's to buy a car, that the cheapest places to buy a car usually back then was to import it from, a neighboring country, Republic of Benin, right? However, that was so, it was such a complicated procedure that my mom had to get an agent. I wanted to follow her. She said, you can't come with me. Just to go to a neighboring country, it was just weird. Like, I couldn't understand why it was such a huge operation until I realized that as I started growing, I realized that actually it's easier to go to London than it is to go to Benin. You understand? Next door. It's easier to go to London than to go to, it's just now that we're moving. It's easier to go to London than to go to, neighboring countries. It's easier to send a package to Paris than to send a package to Egypt. And it's within the same continent. So I created a visual image of my story, and I now started talking about, the challenge, why and what I have done to equip myself to fix that problem, and so on and so forth. But I always start with the story. That's the same essay, y'all, the same essay. That's the same essay that got me a Vanier scholarship of $150,000. That's the same essay that got me into my program and got me a scholarship of $17,500. That's the same essay that got me a PEO scholarship of $12,500. That's the same essay that got me a Delta Kappa Gamma scholarship of $4,000. That's the same essay that got me the new college fellowship of $1,500. It's the same essay. I just used to shake things around. But I took time to write that essay. It took me like 2 months to write it, to share it with people and everything. You understand? But that story is so compelling. Another place I now talk about even my own personal experience trying to import shea butter from Ghana, and I could not find any laws, I could not find any process, I didn't know what to do. Trust me, anybody reads that essay, they remember my essay till today. Even my supervisors, when I'm writing my thesis and I'm like, yeah, that's the problem. Like, yeah, I remember you talked about this in your essay. Yeah, of course you remember the essay, because the essay wasn't according to Nelson Mandela, y'all. It wasn't about that, all right? It was real, it was live, it demonstrated the problem, it demonstrated my competence, it sold me like a boss that I was. I now went on to talk about, my experiences, how I had advised the United Nations Economic Commission for Africa, how I had done some commercial law work, and now how I want to now focus on this, how I believe that businesses are going to be, very pivotal in improving the landscape of trade in Africa, you know, how we cannot rely on the government only because of so and so. The thing, very delicious, very tasty. Till today, I'm still using that essay, something I wrote 3 years ago. So please be creative with your introduction, okay? Good, now we're getting too close to the end. I'm so excited. So final tips, research, create a persona to guide you. Create a persona to guide you. Now you need to market your life like it depends on it. Are you convinced about yourself? If you're not convinced that you're a boss, I'm sorry, nobody can see you as a boss. You have to convince yourself. And listen to this, every word must earn its place. If you set a sentence, ask yourself, please, what's this sentence doing here? What's the purpose of this sentence? How is it selling me? You know, then you need to just write your topic sentences. Topic sentences is just, you know, how we saw those Stanford questions. Just write one sentence, you know, to answer it. Oh, why did you do this? Just write one sentence. Write your bad essay. Write your bad essay today. Commit to, say, I will write my bad essay today. Write it. Write your bad essay. Nonsense, just write it. You know, then I want to tell you something, which is the one document strategy. The one document strategy means even though you're submitting several documents, including your CV, your essay, your references, maybe even a research proposal, you should, at the back of your mind, think of it as one document. The one document strategy, at the back of your mind, think of it as if you're submitting one document. Don't think of it as if you're submitting several documents. And what does that mean? It means as you are writing things in your CV, it must be connecting to things in your personal statement. You know, as you're writing things in your personal statement, ensure that your referee or your references are they're pushing the narrative that supports the narrative that you have. Okay, so have it at the back of your mind. So if, for instance, you've talked about one NGO that you volunteered in, you will now go and get a reference from somebody who does not have anything to do with anything you're talking about. Don't do that. Think of your application as one document that needs to be coherent. Then you need to remember to fit in and stand out. Fit in by knowing what the school wants, you understand, and stand out by showing why you are better than the competition. Okay, now ask for help if needed. So get in, we operate as a social enterprise, and one of the things we do, right, because we gotta run, we gotta be alive, we gotta keep this business moving. You know, we have to make sure that we're helping people and paying the people that help us to help people. One of the things we do is we organize sessions like this that you don't need to pay for. Come learn. All this information that I've given to you, take it for free. Go forth and prosper. Go forth and flourish. With this information, there's no way you're not going to do better. But if you know you want more, if you want to learn practically also how to do this thing, I cannot teach you in an hour and a half, the step-by-step guide. I can't teach you in an hour and a half, okay? I can't teach you in an hour and a half. We're introducing a course that starts next Saturday, and it's called Writing Winning Essays. And trust me, if anybody of you have done any of Getting's courses, you know that you cannot live there without your solution. It's not possible. Did you hear $1.6 million in scholarships? It's not been in 2 years. Who has done that? I have not seen them. And those are the people that we've kept records of. Harvard, Cambridge, Oxford, Cornell, usually like pure water. Last year, we got 2 people into the same program in Harvard. They picked only five Nigerians, and 2 of them were Getting people. You understand? So what I want you to, the same thing happened the previous year also. So what I want you to do is take this opportunity to attend and register for our Writing Winning Essays course. And this is the course where we give you a step-by-step guide on writing an exceptional personal statement and scholarship essays. You think this session has taught you anything? Hey, you need to enter the Writing Winning Essays course. And the promise for this course is that after 1 week, if you do this course, you follow the program, in a week, you will have your essays down. So you're going to learn what we call the ideal framework for writing winning essays. At Getting, we don't use the STAR method to write essays. The STAR method is useful underneath the ideal framework. But I will teach you the ideal framework, right, for writing your essays. And I'm going to give you more examples, to show you practically how you can decode. I'm also going to give you practical tips to creating a persona that sells. right? How can you create that persona? Step by step, the questions you need to ask yourself to create that persona. How do you fit in and stand out? I'm going to be giving you some tips that we use to ensure that people fit in and stand out. The way to find that information, you understand what I'm saying? That will help you stand out. You will learn it in the course. You're also going to get a workbook that you're going to be writing your essays inside that workbook, step by step, to finish your essays in 1 week. And the final thing you're going to get is tools and prompts to get your creative juices flowing. You understand? To get you started and to get you finished. So now, another thing I want you to because we're just amazing like that, we're also going to give you some bonuses. And you're going to get 3 bonuses. The first is the card framework. With all our procedures, you can never find them anywhere. The things we teach, so many people are online. Oh, this is your personal life. No. It's fine. I like that there's so many people giving information out there. But a lot of times, people are coming from the position of, this thing is easy. I come from a position of this thing, if you want to do it well and you want to stand out, it's actually not easy. That's the truth. It's not easy, but I can give you the tools if you're ready to work to make it easy for you, and you'll be so proud of yourself. I always tell people that when I was writing my PhD proposal, I wrote it for 3 months. I wrote it for 3 good months. My proposal and my essay, I kept writing and editing and fixing. But immediately I got my PhD offer. Do you know I forgot all the work I did? I forgot that I was in my office till 10 p.m. every night because I was trying to write and do research. I forgot once I saw my offer and I was, oh my God, I made it. And I was crying, University of Toronto. Oh my God, yes. I forgot that I paid for a book. I bought a book that time for £120. And that time, pounds was like 500 naira. Like there was inflation that period. The book was like 60,000 naira. I was like, oh my God, I wish I didn't have to buy this book. I forgot that I bought a book. You understand? Look at the amount of scholarships I've gotten and look at the investment that I made. It don't make sense. I don't even remember that. Now, I'm going to give you 3 bonuses. One is called the card framework for your entire application. So I'm not just going to give you how to write your essay. I'm going to teach you how to think about your entire application and what should guide you when you're preparing the application. The second thing I'm going to teach you is called the prepare framework for scholarship search and scholarship prep. How do you search for scholarships? How do you prepare to submit a scholarship application that is exceptional? Then obviously you're going to learn the ideal framework, which is the main thing I'm teaching. And the last thing I'm going to teach you is how to implement the 1 document strategy that I talked about. So this is the first time that we're introducing this course, and we're doing it at an introductory price of 10,000 naira, early bird until October 14. Please put the link in the chat for those of you who are interested. We have very limited slots for the 10,000 naira price. Please, if you want to take advantage, please. A lot of times people come to my DM and they're begging me, oh, I'm sorry, please. We do our best. I don't know any company that does this work that we do the way we do it. I don't know any. Everything we give you, if you think the value is 10,000, trust me, you're probably getting value 10 times more. But because we're a social enterprise, we make sure that our prices are as affordable as possible. So please log in, follow the link, purchase your access. It starts next Saturday, and you will have access for 2 weeks. So even if you don't want to finish your essay in 1 week, in 2 weeks you'll be able to finish it. You understand? By October 15, the price goes up to 15,000. And from November 1, when it becomes generally available, it's 20,000 naira, which is $50 only, which is not too much to pay. But I know that a lot of you are spending so much money on, you're paying for IELTS, you're paying for this, you're paying for that. That's why at least we're introducing this introductory price. So I don't want to say more than that, as we say. I don't want to say more than that, but please, once we hit the number, it's an online self-paced course. It's an online course. Once you get access, you get all your materials, you download it, and you can start working. So every night, just set out 1 hour. I'm going to work 1 hour. If you give me 7 hours or 14 hours of dedicated time, of listening to what I'm teaching you and implementing the strategies, you will be blown away. You understand? But you need to work. As I said, no food for lazy man. No food for lazy man. A lot of people come and say, Miriam, just help me do my essay. I say, no, you can't do it. If you want me to do your essay, me, I charge you very expensive because trust me, this brain is first class brain, and my time is expensive. I charge by the hour. You understand? But I do everything I can to give you the empowerment. You don't need somebody to, you too, you are worth it. You too can do it. If I teach you what I do, you can implement it. You don't need me. I'm not the solution. You are the solution. You understand what I'm saying? You are the solution. So please, this is the link. We have only limited slots for the 10,000 naira price. If we hit that number before October 14, that price is going to close and it will go to the 15,000 naira price until the 1st of November, please. And if you've enjoyed this session is recorded. It's going to be available. We'll put it up. Send it to your friends. I want it to go as far as possible. Send it to your friends. This is free. They can see this for free. Nobody's going to charge them for this. But if they want that deeper, juice, so actually walk you through so that you finish your essays in 7 to 14 days, then you need to come to the Writing Winning Essays course. Now, another thing you can consider is what we call a final application review at Getting, which means after you've written your essays and everything, you can come to us and say, look, I'm done with my essays. Is this it? I've done the course. I'm done with my essays. Is this it? And that costs 50,000 naira, but you don't even have to do this if you implement those strategies well. But I just need to let you know that this option is also available to you. Now, even though I said you should not quote Nelson Mandela, I've refused to let the poor man rest. So again, education is the most powerful weapon you can use to change the world. And I will encourage you to do everything you can to get yourself your foot in the door to quality education. Education has changed my life. Accessing quality education has changed my life. Multi-level up. What does that mean? I've leveled up using education. I don't know anyone. I'm not from a particularly, maybe my family is okay, but it's not like I'm like connected or anything. Every connection that I have is from education. So it doesn't matter what stage you are, even if you're not yet applying, you need to learn these strategies, to start early. As I said, I started my own PhD and master's journey 3 years ahead. And guess what? I got what I wanted because I was prepared. So I hope this has been helpful. If you've learned something from this, please let me know. As I said, once the slots are full, please don't DM me. Don't DM me. I love y'all, but don't DM me because do you know the time where I am? I've been up since 5 o'clock because there's time difference. Anytime I have these sessions, I'm always up 4 o'clock, 4:30 to come and talk to you guys because obviously the time difference, and because I know that I'm doing my own part. Even if you cannot, I assure you, if for any reason you cannot afford the course, please go to our website, go to Getting, go to our Instagram page, go to our website. We have so many free resources, I promise. Even if you can't come, it's okay. Go to our online course program. There are like 5 or 6 free courses. Please, you understand? Don't just binge our content. Go to my Instagram page. The content that is free, binge it, chop it. It's free. But if you want this inner access, you can come. But even if you can't, I assure you that from the information you will get that is freely available, you will stand shoulders above others. The only thing I want you to do for me, is please share on social media. Follow me at Miriam Momodu, that's MARIAM MOMODU with an underscore on Instagram, LinkedIn, and Twitter. Follow at Getting Edu, GETINEDU on Instagram and Twitter, and Getting Education Consulting on Facebook and LinkedIn. Tag us, you understand? Tag us and share this session. We're going to put in the next 30 minutes, we're going to share a link with you guys where you can watch this session. You understand? So please share. That's all I need from you. So now I'm going to answer questions. Those who have left, you see, people, those who have left will not now get the answers to the questions. So now let me answer your questions. Okay. So we're just going to do this real quick. I can't believe I've kept you here for 2 hours. I'm so sorry. I planned for this to be 1 hour. But I'm always so passionate about this. I don't always know how the time runs away with me. So I'm going to do my best to answer the questions that I have in the next 10 minutes. If you have any questions, please put it in the chat box. And let me try and answer. If I've already answered it during the session, I'll just skip it. Oh, someone says coordinating my different activities into one story. Obviously, your persona will help you because you're going to pick which one is the most compelling, which one is the shotgun. You have to bring an AK-47 to this battle. Don't come with cutlass. AK-47. You need to come with all your experiences. Show them. You understand? So it's not about putting every activity. Which ones are the most impactful? A catchy opening sentence. I'm going to teach that in the course. There are there are 5 ways that you can write your opening sentence that is going to be very catchy. I know the one I use. One of the ones I use, okay, let me give you one. One of the strategies to write your opening sentence is to make it funny. I know it sounds funny, like, what are you saying? Funny? Yeah, make it funny. Let them be like, let them see it and let them just laugh. There's a way to write it, you understand? You're not going to go there and become basket mouth. Or you're going to go there and become Kevin Hart. No. But sometimes, if you're able to get that sweet sense of humor into your opening sentence, the person who is reading it wants to read it because it's like, maybe there's more interesting stuff to read. Okay, I'm going to share you the other strategies in the course. So someone says, explaining my career plans and breaking it down into short and long-term goals. Now, one of the things you need to know about that is short and long-term goals. I'm going to be answering all the questions here, so please don't leave. Short and long-term goals, people always feel like it always has to be set in stone. It's not true. You are growing, things can change. So almost look at it as a wish, but make sure it's coherent. Make sure it connects with your past. You understand? Make sure you can show how there's a natural transition into that position, okay? Telling your story using the appropriate words that point home succinctly. So when you write the bad essay, after your bad essay, you now start writing your good essay. And it is when you're writing your good essay that you will start removing your thereunto, therefore, you start removing all those things and you start to make it compressed. I also encourage you to always share your essays with someone who you trust, whose opinion, you trust in terms of writing. Wondering if your story is powerful. So I've talked to you about thinking local and global and about the fact that you're not a beggar. You understand? So you have to do your best to put your foot forward and ask yourself, is this a unique experience? Let me see. Feeling that my essay will be too empty. Your essay should not be empty. You understand what I'm saying? If you have a persona and you're able to connect it with the university, there's already a lot to talk about. Someone says, talking about all my current activities. So you can't talk about all. You can't talk about all. Even in my CV, there's some experiences that I don't put. So you can't talk about all. So someone says, my challenge is writing an essay that serves an achievement from the first line. Actually, from the first line, your job is not to sell your achievement. Your job is to get them interested. Your job is to get them curious. Your job is to get them saying, okay, maybe there's something here. That's your job. It's not to start selling your experience. It's to make them, feel like there's something here. Let me see other questions. So yes, can you use a particular essay to apply to more than one school? As I said, I use the same essay all the time, but I customize it. And I'll give you 2 customization tips, in the class. There are 2 ways to customize it. So someone says, if asked to write approximately 500 words, is it safe to write up to 600 words? As I find it difficult to put all I want to 500 words. 500 is 500. Oh, please don't write above the word count. When I'm reviewing essays, when we say 500 words, once it is 501 words, I don't read it because you cannot follow instructions. So looking. So someone said, is your grad school essay the same as your personal statement? So I just kept saying grad school essay because schools call it different things. Some call it personal statement, some say statement of purpose. The most important thing is the prompts, not what they call it. It's the prompts that will let you know what they're asking for, which is, tell us about this, share something personal about you. We need to know, blah, 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 blah. Someone says, if you don't have much experience and achievements, how do you fit it into the essay to make it a stellar essay? Number one, you have to go back and utilize the tips I talked about. Really, are you underselling yourself? Now, if you see and you really believe that maybe you actually don't have anything, I usually sometimes encourage people to take a year out. That maybe there's not the time for you to apply to grad school. There's nothing wrong with that. So can you add leadership experience with your persona? Volunteering, of course. Okay, so I think I've gotten all the questions almost. So someone says this research, like if you're doing a research proposal, what should you be researching? Getting has a free resource on research proposal. It's free. It's over 30 pages. Go and download it. Trust me. After you finish using that document, you should be able to have a research proposal. Um, okay. Can you submit your application this year? I'm not sure I understand the question. So yes, we posted the link on research proposal. So if you scroll up, you will see it. All right, all right, all right, all right. Okay, 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 okay. So again, we have a research proposal document. Right. I think the questions. So someone says. If applying for a coursework-based program and not a thesis program, the balance seems tilted towards wanting to get more than wanting to give, other than boosting the community in the school. How else can I show up contributing a coursework program? What is your coursework program funded? If it's funded or if it can be funded, you still need to show that you have something to bring to the table, whether it is to also contribute to the conversation, you understand what I'm saying, on a particular subject matter based on your experiences. Someone says, or what it entails in selling within the ICT space, where Otiwa is where the market is, which is definitely not the real life marketing example. I don't really understand. I think maybe that's like a subject matter specific thing that I don't really know. Okay. I've answered the question about quotes. Yes, the recording will be made available. Aha, someone says some investors will clearly tell you not to include favorite quotes in your essay. Yes, the recording will be available. So your master's essay delved into my childhood working at your dad's poultry farm. That's good. That's fine. It depends on if you're able to, obviously, if it connects to what you're trying to do. Those are quite interesting. Um, you can keep, most people keep using the same referees. I use the same referees most times, so I don't really know if it's a problem. Someone is asking about using the same referees. How do you choose an academic referee if you've been out of school for 20 plus years? So sometimes if you've been out of school for a long time, you can actually email the school and ask them, is it okay for you to do a professional reference because your academic referees, what if all your academic referees have died? Does that mean, maybe they're old, they're old, they were old? Does that mean you can't get into school? That's not true. So usually when you're in that kind of situation, I usually tell you to send the school an email. Um, exactly. Thank you. The team is answering the questions fantastically. You can use a professional reference instead. Okay, so I think those are the questions. Someone says, kindly answer the question of supervisor commitment. I didn't see that. If you can post the question again, I will be able to answer. Okay, someone says, I'm finding it difficult to get supervisor commitment. Even after emailing them in the night, someone and checking out their profile and reading their publication, what more can I do? Getting has a free course on our website called uh, cold emailing. Most people are not emailing people the right way. So I would recommend that you take that free course. I would also recommend that, see, if you are to get a supervisor, you should have been contacting them a few months ahead. You understand? You're a little bit late in the game. So if you want to contact supervisor, please reach out, watch our cold emailing course. Get in team. Can you also put in the account details in the chat for those who want to buy the course by bank transfer? If you already have a master's degree, I want to go for another in Canada, would that pose a challenge to subsequent applications? Sometimes you need to really show why that master's is necessary. You understand? You have to really show why. You have to be able to, at least if you have your admission, if you're able to convince the admissions committee, the next step will now be the visa issue. You understand? But I don't think it's a problem if you can, in your personal statement, explain that I did a master's in A, which has given me this experience. Now I want to do a master's in B. That's fine. So I said, can you start your background story with as a child growing up? You are free to, but there are going to be like 58 other essays that say as a child growing up. So a lot of times I use childhood experiences, but I don't always say as a child growing up. You can talk about, you can use even so I started my own essay by saying something like, I was 16 when my mom wanted to buy her first car, or I was 7 or 8 or 10 when my mom wanted to buy a first car. something like that. But don't start it as a child. I've already mentioned that, you can talk about a childhood experience, but that as a child is not just, it's not just interesting. Some people say as a child, I've always wanted to be a doctor. Instead of saying as a child, I wanted to be a doctor, why don't you give an example of a scenario or a situation that made you want to be a doctor as a child? So with this, I hope you are better equipped. This session is going to be available, and we are going to, we're going to send you an email, forward it to your friends, let them watch it. And please note that once we meet our number for the course, we will have to take it to the 15,000 introductory price, and on November 1 we go to 20,000. I thank you so much for coming. Please let me know if this has been helpful to you. It's not even about coming for a course. If you can't come, that's fine, but I know that I've been able to give you so many tips that can help you, submit an essay better and faster. It's been a pleasure speaking with you. I wish you the best. Believe in yourself. I always tell people, what are you afraid of? Be afraid of what will happen to you if you don't submit this application. Be afraid of the progress you will not make if you don't submit your application, okay? So don't be afraid. Everything you want is on the other side of fear, all right? I know fear sometimes holds us back, but a lot of the things I've gotten in my life was because I just said, you know what? I don't care. Let me submit. Let me do my best. Let me submit. And I know that if you also do the same, you would actually succeed. Put in the work. There's no alternative to hard work. Nobody is going to pause their life to submit your essay for you. You are the one who is driving your future. If you know you want to use education to level up, if you want to use education to level up, then level up. So if you want to pay using the bank transfer method, make sure you send an email to info@getting.com.ng with evidence of payment. Okay, please can we put the links again? I think people are asking for the links, and I'm very glad this was helpful to you. It's always my pleasure. I wish you the best as you're applying. Please, if it works out for you, reach out to us, send us an email, and just tell us, thank you for what you taught me. Help other people too. Help other people. Help other people, please. We've done our best since the past few months. We've helped over 500 people in different ways through our Get It Done program, through, in fact, what I'm saying, 500? Well over 3,000 people on how to submit their essays properly and how to package themselves well, and giving tips and strategies. Go back, watch all the sessions we've done. We've done a whole session on pursuing a PhD in Canada. We've done a whole session on Chevening scholarships. If you follow this course website, just go and watch it. Watch it, binge on it. I'm not the only one talking. You get insights from other people. So I'm really hoping you join us in the course this Saturday. It's going to be so amazing. You're going to be so mind blown, and I can't wait to see you guys. Thank you. Have a wonderful weekend. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Thank you so much. Say nice comments before you leave. Thank you.